Okay. So anyway, we have introduced each other and our guest speaker. So our guest speaker is, well, you already know Rob McGowan, who is a
She's like, who is it? I can't remember. I just talked to him last night. Who's that guy? I met him once somewhere. Grocery store this afternoon. She said, Rob, will you come on? Please.
Oh my. No, so he's a radio announcer at Life Radio, the Positive Voice in New Brunswick, a painter, a songwriter, and a singer and a poet whose goal is to find the common ground where we all communicate in a way to lift each other, and then always promoting positivity. He is a father of two children, and then he is I'm admitting someone, and he is also a very active with volunteer work in his community. He loves to travel and engage with people, but he needs more time, break time, because he always works. And then that's and I'm so fortunate to get connected with Rob, and I consider him really a friend. Well, okay, let me introduce you now, Rob. Rob McGowan.
It's nice to meet everybody. For those who I haven't met before, and after a big introduction like that, make you feel all special. And radio, I don't know about everybody else. I got into radio years ago, accidentally. Actually, I had been traveling back and forth in our country out west, working on pipelines and doing different things. And I wrote a lot, and it's kind of an introvert, secluded, and always writing and doing things. One day I was driving home thinking, I need to do something different. I want God to do something. I said, change my life. I'm not, there's no meaning. I don't feel any purpose in life. So I was driving home on the radio, and I liked Adele, and I heard this song come on, and the woman sounded like Adele, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. And at the end of it, it was this Lauren Daigle woman who was actually a gospel singer. And I thought, oh, that's a nice thing. And this thing come on, said Life Radio, the Positive Voice. And I thought, Life Radio, what is this crap? So I turned the dial, of course, and this, Jesus stuff off. And I was like, no. And then I get home, and my son says there's this ad in the paper for this company looking for somebody to help them sort of promote their place. I used to do promotions as a young guy, and it said it's Life Radio. I was like, why do I keep hearing about this Life Radio? So I go into Life Radio, and it's this Mickey Mouse station, nothing going on, and they don't know why it's not working, can't figure out anything. And they said, nobody's listening. I said, well, I didn't know you existed. For one thing. I said, how does anybody listen if they don't even know you're here? So they said, well, how can we find out here? So I said, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we'll make a show, we'll go downtown, and we'll invite all the mayor and everybody to breakfast, and we'll do the show live from a restaurant for free for the restaurant, and have all the city guys down. And that's how we get started. So we got them in, everybody wanted to come down, and then start seeing who was going to come to the show. So I started with a live show, doing the radio live. And then they said, oh, well, will you be on air? And then I went on air, and all of a sudden they started getting letters and people. And then I said, well, you can hook up around the world. And I put it online so I could talk to people around the world and do interesting interviews and beg people to come on for a while. So then we just started getting all this great stuff. And then all of a sudden, once people knew who they were, signs went up by the Tim Hortons and things went up, and they started getting advertising. And so the company did really well. And that's how I ended up in radio. It was a total fluke. Just they didn't have any way to do anything. So I just manifested, what could I do? I just started to dream about how could I make this place a success. And basically with when you think something up, obviously you can make it happen. Because I think that's sort of how God talks to us. We think, oh God, we'd like to change something and do something. And then all of a sudden we start having dreams about it. And everybody says, well, dreams are random. I think, well, how are they random? How do they know what I want to think about, and where do they come from, and all this stuff? So to me, it was like my way of sort of listening to God and how I could understand. And then I started paying more close attention to this stuff. Like, so does God really want me to be here? This is a Christian place. It's in the bottom of a church. I don't even go to church. I was like, I'm kind of, I shouldn't say anti-Christian. I grew up Christian and was for the Bible and all that stuff. But the church itself always seemed to push people away rather than bring people in. I've always been more of like a philosopher, kind of stoic, Marcus Aurelius kind of thinking kind of guy. And I said, why do we have to always talk in this sense, like, you know, you're against people, as opposed to why don't we just talk about how we feel and what God means to us on the radio, and see if people respond to it. And I get letters all the time and things in the mail, and then I started trying to figure out, this is where I say God can work through you if you let him. I said, how can I make a difference in the community? So I realized that testimony of people, you know, if you're rich and you got everything, who cares? You know, you can say, I have a nice car, I have a nice boat, and look at this great thing I've got. And you bring people to show them and they say, oh, that's really nice. But really they go home and think, oh, I wish I had that, or I wish I had better, or they're not really, it's not really a good thing. But what you want to do to relate to people, to find God within us all, is find out, how can I attach what I go through to your humanity? So I went to the shelters where guys were going through detox and different things like that, and started talking to them about what they were going through and what they experienced. And I brought them down to the station, and we would have conversations, and they would say, so an example of how it works is, one guy came in and he started telling me that he was on the couch one day, and the guy across from him was passed out, he thought, and he went over and he robbed his wallet and took his stuff so he could get some more drugs. But it turned out the guy wasn't passed out, he was dead. So he had stole from this dead guy to keep his drug, and he knew then he was in trouble, and he ended up getting help, and he was in this men's group working through his problems, and it changed half his life. But by telling his story, another pastor in the community heard it, and he started, he knew there was a building where there was all kinds of trouble going on, and he learned about the group through this guy, and he started going through the building and finding people that needed help and bringing them to this place and raising money and changing the lives of everybody in this building because of this guy's testimony. And I said, now, this guy had nothing, was doing nothing, and all of a sudden he changed all these people's lives just by telling his story. So I thought, that's how God works. He can relate through what we go through, because we can understand, if I say the bad things that happen in my life, you can relate to that. Who cares if I have a car, or if I have a boat, or if I have a, you know, it's like, yeah, maybe I'll get that, maybe I won't. But if I say, you know, I was an alcoholic, or I was a drug addict, or I had a broken relationship in a marriage, there's somewhere in there that you can find a common ground to say, oh, I've gone through that. So now we've got a language where we can communicate together. We all sort of start to say, okay, yeah, he's just like me. He's an idiot too. So we can talk back and forth, and then people can communicate that way. So I started trying to think, well, that's the kind of language I want to get across, so that people feel like open to be able to say, okay, I want to change. I'm struggling. My life is hard. I want to change. So I found the people who are changing, who are going through the struggles. And that's how my radio show works now, is we look for things. So then I started talking to people around the world and doing different interviews with musicians and stuff. And so through my work and having politicians in, I got to be friends with some of the politicians, and realized when you're friends with somebody, they're more influenced than they are by, you know, something you have. So communication and talking between them. And then, so they'd come in, and I'd have one of these guys on doing his testimony, and they get to know them, and they'd want to participate, and they join the groups, and all of a sudden they could make a difference. So an example of how a story of this, how it's expanded for me, and how I show you God works through the work I do here, is we have an MLA here, or an MP here, named Jake Stewart. He came in, and we got to be friends, and he got elected to Ottawa, and the guy who's running for Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Poilievre, is friends with him now. They're pretty good buddies. So a lady I had talked to last year when COVID, or 2 years ago when COVID first broke out, her husband was one of the first ones to die of COVID. And she had called up, and she was talking about how she wanted to commit suicide and her life was falling apart. And I told her that God had a purpose for her, and that sometimes, you know, on the other side of all this struggle, that's where greatness happens. And I gave her some of these stories I was telling you about. And she's doing great work now, and she's got this school there, and the people coming from the Ukraine across into Poland are coming to her school, and the children are staying there, and she's taking care of all these people. Like, it's just changed the world altogether. It's crazy how her life has changed. But she sent me an image of one of the little girls coming from Poland. And well, you can see I paint. I love to paint. And I was painting the young girl, and I realized as I was painting it, there was a mound behind her, and I thought, what is this mound? and realized it was a body. It wasn't a mound. She was sitting on either her grandmother or mother, somebody who had died behind her. And I started to cry and I broke down. Anyways, I finished this painting, and I was telling my friend, the MP, about it. And then his friend, who's running for Prime Minister of Canada here, Pierre Poilievre, he come down and he got the painting from me. And so the little girl who's struggling, through a friend in Poland who had sent me it through her story, now is going to hang in the Parliament buildings, probably in the next Prime Minister of Canada's office, as a reminder of how we need to help people. So that little girl's story is now changing, the guy at the highest office. And I think, wow, so how God can work through nothing. There was no money involved, no big thing, just by trying to be empathetic to those around us and make a difference. So those are the kinds of things I work on all the time here. I'm always looking for that sort of story, that sort of idea of how I can make a difference in the world by letting people do the story. Marcus Aurelius always says, if you want to make a difference, make sure nobody knows it was you who did it. Inspire the people that can make the difference. So you have to find who can make a difference in a place, inspire them to be the best they can be. So that's my goal in life, is to inspire people like these groups, people like the prime ministers, anybody who is in a position to do something well needs to know their compass to do it. Somebody sort of nudge them once in a while and point them and say, yeah, you should be doing this. You're really good at this. This is what you're great at. Why aren't you doing it? And that's how I work on things. So does anybody else have experiences like that where God sort of manifests in your life in that sense?
Who would like to share? How were you able to experience God to give you that opportunity, especially the gifts that we have, that now you're using it to help others? Who would like to share?
Well, I'll go first.
Okay, Senor Eric. Thank
Well, I had an experience in church where I was a pillar of the church, and they had a young man in the church was working with me in the finance office, and I saw that his heart wasn't really into working with the finances, and that I kind of felt that he wanted to do some other work in the ministry. And so I talked with him and I inspired him not to just do things just to do things, but do things that can have more of an impact in other people's lives. And so he said, well, I really like Bible study. I like teaching Bible study. So I said, well, do that. I inspired him to go and teach Bible study, because I used to teach Bible study, and I inspired him to go teach Bible study, and he loved it so much. He's now a pastor, because he pursued what his passion was, and I inspired him to do something that he loved to do and he have a passion for, instead of just doing something to fulfill a role in the position in the church.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'd like to share something.
Okay.
I have been a student of the Bible for 26 years. I've read the Bible through about well over 25 times. I love it. It's the best book in the whole world. It's influenced my life in so many ways. And I teach it every morning. I call people on the phone because, it's kind of hard to do, face to face with people during COVID. And so we call people on the phone. Me and a group of my local friends here will call people on the phone and encourage them to look into the Bible and see if we can get a conversation started about God or the scriptures or the Bible, and see if that can influence them in some way, in some positive way. We bring good news to people. And so if they want, we will study the Bible with them. We just try.
It's awesome.
I'd like to share.
Sure.
And Cynthia is probably going to fall through the floor because I never speak. But I think sometimes
Is it
what is
Angela?
it is.
Oh my, Angela is my body pump instructor. How I wish we could see you, Angela. Please show
No.
your
Oh, I
I
don't,
just
that's
finished
why I was
teaching.
looking, which one is she? But I didn't
I just
see
Yes,
her.
finished
Okay.
teaching
Angela.
class, so I'm
You're
not
so
presentable.
beautiful. You don't hide your beauty, please.
I just finished teaching, so I'm not quite presentable.
We
But
also, Angela, I'm also sweaty.
I just wanted to say that I think it's so important as I continue to, I mean, I've been in the church all my life. I've known God for a very long time. But as I become older and become more mature in my walk, it's so much more important to me the way that people act out God. It's not about what you say, it's how you act. And that's, I think, one of the purest examples. And I'm not just saying this because this is her call, but I've been going to the same gym for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And it took me a long time to really come out of my shell. And Cynthia was really one of the people that kind of spoke into me, into my life, and how she lives and how she shows love and encouragement. And she's one of the major reasons that I became a body pump instructor. I had been going to that class for forever. I'd sit in the back corner and just kind of do my own thing and come in and leave and, you know, wave, but keep it going. And she was one of the people that really kind of spoke into me and encouraged me along the way. And I feel like, and being an instructor is a ministry. People come in and they've had a crappy day, and you know, and I have the opportunity to change that through my interaction now with, you know, the members that come to the gym. And you know, I have personal conversations and I'm speaking to them and things are going on in their life, and I'm able to, you know, encourage them through the love of God. Oh, I'll pray for you. Oh, we're thinking about you. We have a support group where, you know, we call each other, we gather. So I would just say, you know, it's not just about believing and speaking, it's about what you're doing and what you're showing. So I appreciate that in Cynthia, and I admire that, and I try to live that as I continue along my walk too. So
That's awesome.
You know what? Thank you so much, Angela. And Angela has been a special person. She's been a special friend. And if you've seen Angela, she's really super shy, and she would just she's quiet. But every time that we have our class, she would start singing, she would start dancing, even weightlifting. So that's, I'm so happy that she's spreading now that smile, that sunshine, even in class. And I admire you, Angela, for opening up yourself, and you have now all the support from the class. We're getting bigger and bigger.
I see. It's
Ye-
exciting to see everyone.
Yes. And
If
sometimes
she
it's good
is
to be
just
praised.
one little iota as pretty as she is in that picture, I want to see her.
Oh, see,
Oh, you're so
Angela.
sweet.
See, Angela, please show your face.
Absolutely
we
not.
want to see
She's so
Angela.
pretty.
We
She's
want to see
so.
Angela.
Angela,
We want Angela. We
Angela,
want
Angela.
Angela.
No way, Jose. Oh my God.
Please, Angela.
I
She-
can't. Oh my God, I can't. I'm so like embarrassed.
It's time for to open up, and we're all here
oh yeah, nothing to be
supporting one
embarrassed of.
another.
Definitely.
We're all friends.
We're
We're
all
not going to
friends.
hurt you. We're not going to laugh at you.
Yeah,
Oh no, I'm not worried about that at all. I laugh at myself, so it's okay.
we love
Okay.
you. There.
Hi.
See?
All right.
Oh,
Beautiful.
see?
You are beautiful.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
All that for nothing.
I'm telling you, I'm telling everyone, you're beautiful. Oh.
Thank you.
Yes, very beautiful.
Thank you so much, Angela.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Did anybody else have anything you want to say about that part of it? No. Well, I got another story about this one. I often tell the story of well, first we tell a simple sort of narrative. It's about a frog story. I was thinking we have to surround ourselves with people like this and groups like this and people that are always inspiring you, because if you don't, you get the wrong people around you, you're never going to get anywhere. Because what happens is you always feel like there's something wrong with you, because people will tell you. It's like, I tell them one time there was 2 frogs, they fell into a hole, and it started to rain and they couldn't get out of the hole, and the water's coming in and all the other frogs are standing up around them, and they're saying, just lay down, give up, guys. Like, this is a waste of time. And they kept jumping and jumping. Finally, one frog says, I've had it. He just lays down, he dies. This is pointless. Why am I wasting my energy? The other one just keeps going and going and going and just never gives up. And the water starts to erode the mud, and eventually the mud gets down lower and the frog jumps out of the hole. And everybody says, well, we told you to give up. Like, why didn't you give up? He said, well, I'm deaf. I didn't know what you're saying. I thought you were telling me to jump out, So the whole time he thought he was being encouraged. So the difference is that if you put the right people around you, it doesn't matter what you're going through, as long as it's how you feel about it and how you think about it. Marcus Aurelius said, the soul's dyed with the color of our thoughts. And every day when you get up, I get up very early in the morning, as Cynthia can tell you, at 4 o'clock, 4:30. I like to watch the sunrise every day to start my day. If I can, I go and I find the sunrise and I say, okay, this is the one thing that's never going to be the same. God made it. I can look at it and I can start my day from there, knowing that it didn't cost me a penny, but everybody can have it. So from there, at least puts me on the track to say, okay, today is going to be a good day. I'm going to start off on a good note. It might all fall apart, but I'm going to start off on a good note, trying to think in a good way and move from there. So if you start your day off on the right note, you're better off. You've already got a jump on the situation. So that's one thing to put in your journal, is try to start your day off in a way of not getting out of bed thinking, oh, how am I going to pay the bills today? Oh, how am I going to catch up the mortgage? Oh, I hate this job I'm at. Oh, we have to learn to change the way we think, because the way we think changes everything. You go into a grocery store and you're standing in a lineup, you just got off work and you can't wait to get home and watch your Netflix or whatever and have your supper. And you're like, I've worked hard all day. I just want to get home, relax. And, there's a big lineup. There's a kid yelling in the, 2 seats up from you. And everybody's like, and you get to the counter and the girl says, she can't run the machine and the credit card's not working. So another 10 minutes goes by and you're trying to get your scanned and stuff. So, and you're getting more irritated. Whereas if you think about things differently and you come to the line, you think, this lady's child, maybe her dad just died or something's going on and she's really having a hard time. I wish maybe there's something I can do, cheer them up or tell a joke or make that better for them. And as you get to the lineup, the girl who's having the hardest day, much harder than yours, you're going home to watch Netflix and have some supper, and she's working for minimum wage at the grocery store. Maybe you could say something to her to make her day a little bit more inspired. So if you change the way you think on each moment of your life, your whole day changes, your perspective changes. And it's easier said than done, because we all always feel in a hurry, and that's what life always puts at us. But the only thing that is forever wealthy, that gives you wealth, is the stuff you give away. Nothing you ever gain in your life will give you wealth, but everything you give away will give you the joys beyond belief. It's amazing. So, and you have that opportunity every day. You can tell a joke to the person you get a coffee from. I actually at night look up different jokes, practice some jokes. So the next day when I go in to get my coffee, I can tell that person a joke, get a laugh. I ask them who their mother is and who their father is. And I try to learn about the people in my community as I go through to sort of friend everybody in the best way. And I got that theory because I was listening to Nelson Mandela tell his story. And he was saying that he was in prison. He had tried to fight the man and everything was crazy. And he ends up getting 30 years in jail, and he's there and he's in hard labor every day. And he's in this little cell, and he started reading this poem, out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods there may be for my unconquerable soul. In the foul clench of circumstance, I have not winced or cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of fate, my head is bloody but not bowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tear lies the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years will find me unafraid. Matters not how straight the gate, how I'll charge with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate, the captain of my soul. And when he read that, he realized, if I just change the way I do things, things will change. So he started learning the names of the guards, talking about their families. And what happened? It became reciprocal. They started to treat him better. His life became better in prison, and he learned how you treat people is how you get treated back. His enemy is him in different circumstances, is what he'd like to say. So knowing that, I thought, well, that's under those circumstances, he found that way to change for himself. What can I do just in my daily basis. When I go out amongst people and I'm doing things, what can I do to make my day better? And if you start to change incrementally these little things in your life, your whole life becomes a different person. You become different than that, hateful, grudging, watch the CNN, life sucks kind of guy that we all were at one time. You're sitting there watching the news. If you watch the news, the whole world's going to hell. They're all out to get us. We're all going to die soon, or whatever's going to happen. I don't even watch TV anymore. I gave up on that. It just drove me bananas after a while. But and I work for a radio station, have to do news every day. I do it for my community, and I talk about what's going on in the community, and I find ways to help. So they wanted to have a biking community here where they could have bicycles and travel. And I thought, well, that's a great thing. You get to exercise and people get to meet each other and they get out in the parks. So we were having an election. I had all the city councilors in, and I said, what do you guys think about having a bike path and having this through our city and people? And they said, oh, that's a great idea. This is before the election, of course. And then, of course, after the election, when they all got elected, I brought them all back in and said, oh, I have it on tape here. You guys all said that you wanted to do this. So then we became friends, and they started creating this path in this group, and we all worked together to do that. So these are the kinds of things I try to think of every day. Where's the opportunity? God will put it in front of you every day if you look for it. We don't have to help the whole world. Like somebody said to me one time, I was coming back from a trip through Toronto, and there was people lying on the street, and people were just walking by. I was sitting there, and I just was in astonishment that every person that could walk by, because it's such a common place to see homelessness, right? And but God doesn't expect us to fix every homeless person's problem. But when you come across somebody in your path, you are supposed to help that person, feed them, give them a drink, do whatever you can do, just to let them know that there's a spark of humanity, that they're loved, and maybe share your story about how you were in that place or in something similar to that and how it got out. So all these stories are a way to help people. And that's all we really are here to do, is share stories and be a little bit of an angel here and there when we get a chance. Does anybody had to come across something where they felt like they had an opportunity to help, but didn't? You ever get that feeling like, oh, I should have done something? No?
Me, actually, I'm the type of person that if given the opportunity, I always grab that opportunity, because I don't know when would be the next opportunity. So if I am given the opportunity to meet someone, I will make sure, because I value human connection, I will make sure that I will spend the time and energy with that person. I don't know, probably it's divine intervention that this person suddenly needs something. There was one lady that spoke to me, and she mentioned about, I just connected with her, and then she told me, Cynthia, I don't know why I got connected with you, but I'm so glad that I was able to communicate with you, because she was able to share her problems with me, and we were able to solve the problem. So for me, if I'm given the opportunity to meet another person, spend the time, it's not always money, no? The time, the listening ear that we can give for the other person, it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is try to be, because what we're discussing is how to stay positive. And it's hard to stay positive, especially during hard times, hardships, no? But what I would like, the tips that I would like to share is, we're given good health, be appreciative of what we have. It's, for me, living a simple life is not about being easy or whatnot. It's just appreciating life, the life that was given to you. No matter, just be happy with what you have. That's all. And that's how God blessed me he blessed me with so many people, so many friends, and each one of you, actually, I've learned so much from each one of you, and I truly appreciate the engagement I've had with
Well,
all of
you're
you.
awesome. I'm sure everybody can attest to the fact that you're a great lady, Cynthia. We all love you very much.
I love you all. Thank you. And sometimes, and probably the gift that was given to me by God is being crazy. And that's how I am able to.
And everybody thinks they have to have, like, huge amounts of money and to do anything any good. And that's absolute nonsense, because I'll give you my favorite example of something that happened to me. I get calls. I also do a phone line for people with suicide and stuff through the radio station. People call me, and I had a friend text me, she's a friend now, but at the time she texted me and she said, I had written a poem about how you change your life, and you can make a difference if you just step forward. And I said, if you're feeling like, I think in the quote I had put, if you're feeling like life isn't going well, then turn around, go the other way. It's okay to fail, because I think failure is where all success is. I think there's nothing on the other side of quitting. Whenever you quit, you failed. That's it. Nothing can happen. But if you fail, you're on your way to success. And everybody has to sort of grasp in their head, what do you mean? Because nothing was ever created without failure. Reggie Jackson struck out thousands of times before he hit those few home runs that everybody remembers, the biggest home run hitter. Or the guy invented the light bulb. He had 1,000 inventions nobody remembers because they were all failures, but they remember he made the light bulb, Edison, right? They remember what you do that's good, but they don't remember the failures. So go and fail. Who cares? But if you're going to fail, don't fail at feeling sorry for yourself, or at a job you don't like, or whatever it is you don't want to be doing. If you're going to fail, go fail at something at least you want to at least try that you'd like. Try to do something that you think you can't do and fail at that, because reaching for stuff is the best way to get yourself to the next level. And so anyways, this girl calls me, and it stumped me. She said, and she had been a friend of family. Her mom had died from an overdose, killed herself. And she had struggled with drugs her whole life, and she'd lost all her children to the system, 3 or 4 kids, and had a real hard time. And she'd read this post of mine and said, I just feel like no worth all the time. I don't feel like there's nothing worth turning around. I don't feel like turning around because I don't feel I'm worth turning around for. And I had no answer for her. And I went home. I was very sad. And for me, I don't know if some people think differently, but for me to think, I write poetry at night to think. And through writing poems, it's like a different language to me. It creates this whole new sort of area and then I can listen to the poem back, and it's sort of, I recognize things in a different way. So I went home, I actually put this poem out here for you guys so I could, and I wrote this poem down. It's called Wake Up. It said, wake up, I feel like a bird with no words, love laid not its poem to heart. I want to sing like the meadowlark, yet no tunes have I to warble. So I deserate, I long for, I give up, but I truly fail. Tears I lay to settle the dust, my soul too is to go to sleep. Faster and faster wings hover, one last dip, one last dive, one last chance to sing, maybe feel alive. Too late, my time is called. Oh captain, my heart trip is done, my song I'll never sing, because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. So then the bird died, and God whispered in the ear, why did you look for chirp and chatter? You're not the meadowlark, you're heaven's greatest tune. Wake up, my friend, and realize you are the hummingbird. It was never meant to sing. He's the hummingbird. And after I read that, I called the girl back, and I explained to her that I had other people who had called me who were going through the same struggles as her, and that her story and what she was going through, if she could share that with these people and tell them about how she felt, that she might be able to help them. And I connected her up with them, and through helping other people, she turned her whole life around. She got off of drugs, and she's doing amazing. And she's actually become a really good friend, and she's an advocate and works for us and doing all kinds of things. But at the time, all I had was a poem, something I could write. No money, no riches, no nothing. I just went home and was trying to find words to understand how to help this person. So you never know what God will give you to change something. And if you just ask and work on it, whatever you got, will work for you in an unbelievable way if you just look at it that way. And that's how I see God, not quite like the way I was brought up in church to see God. It's just a whole different realm of thinking for me and God. It's more about relationships and testimonies back and forth.
I agree. I
Mm.
agree.
Yeah.
See, the gifts that we have given by God, sometimes we are just not aware of the gifts that was given to us. What we need is to just really check on us. What do we really love to do? And the what would we love? What do you want to do, to be, to have, to create, and to give? And that's the only way for us to be able to serve and to discover your purpose. And that will give us that fire and motivation to move forward, to help others and make an impact. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you really have to think about what you have and not what you want and what you don't have.
Mhm.
If you start thinking, what do I have around me now? Even if you're in the poorest of situations, you think, what do I have? I can watch the sunrise. I have a chance to go and learn something. I can go somewhere to a library. Libraries are free if there's something I need to learn. If I want to go to a job, I can go somewhere to a public washroom. Like what do I have available to me to change the situation I'm in? And when we can start teaching people that no matter where you're at, there's something you can do to improve each day. And if you begin there, it's like a cycle. It's just like exercise. It's like everything else. Habit forms habit, and one good thing connects to another good thing. But you have to start moving towards the good, towards you bettering your life, bettering your mind, bettering everything around you, and have a dream. You have to have a dream. If you don't have a dream, you're lost.
exactly.
You know?
And our goal is not to be perfect, because no one is
No.
perfect. Yes. Our goal is to become better and better than before, become the better version of ourselves.
And pick yourself up when you fail, when you fall down, because you're always going to fall down. It's always going to happen.
Yes. And take the lessons learned and then move on. Apply what you've learned. Rob, would you like to share your song? Because
sure.
Rob is a
I write music sometimes
writer.
and things too. So
Okay, I would like to share
this one's called Dancing in the Rain. It's about
where is
when you're in hard times, like we're talking about, and your struggles, that's where the good stuff comes from. So that's what I wrote this song about.
okay, so this one.
This morning and doing a Marcus Aurelius sunrise, and it's raining out, so it'll probably be cloudy outside. I filmed a few sunrises lately, and I've been going through a bit of a sad moment. I was thinking about a song that I'd written and been working on recently with things going on. And I thought maybe I'll just try and record it and put it with the few sunrises I caught this week. We'll see what we can do. I've been dancing in the rain. Now you might think that's insane, but that's where all the good stuff comes to dancers. Looking back to the sun, it's not the brightest thing I've done, but I'm always trying to see what I can't see. So why don't you listen? And why can't you feel? Girl, we belong together. The only thing that seems real. Will you take the high road God knows I took the load, and we meet in the middle. That's how we know what we know. The dancing in the rain, though you might think it's insane, that's where all the good stuff comes to dancers. So why don't you listen? And why can't you see that we belong together? You and me were meant to be, just dancing in the rain, where you might think it's insane, but that's where all the good stuff comes to dancers. And looking back to the sun, well, it ain't the brightest thing I've done, but I'm trying to see what I can't see. Let's go dancing in the rain. Let's go dancing in the rain. 'Cause that's where all the good stuff comes to dancers.
Beautiful. This is my favorite, one of my favorite songs of Rob. Now I would stop sharing. That's one talent, the gift of. Is it you cannot hear?
What's that?
You cannot hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I thought I take the others can't hear me, but see the gift of Rob being a songwriter, a singer, and and he's making an impact by writing songs to those people, and that's amazing. And I would like to share what you've been doing as a painter. I'll share.
Well, you can see there's paintings all around me. I paint all the time around the clock.
Okay. Just I just want to share how talented you are. Where's the okay?
Well, this one, oh, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, there. Would you like to share something?
Well, this one's a blue jay. The reason I painted this one, I took the photo and I love the way the lens on the camera had fogged out the background, so it made me interested in trying to paint it into a picture. That's what transpired in that picture.
Mhm. Okay, next.
And this one, a lady had sent me a photo, and it was somewhere in England, and I thought, this does not look like England. And to this day, I still think she was mistaken, but she wanted me to do this picture, and I've always loved it, never been able to figure out where it was, and I always just felt like a place I wanted to go. So I had to paint it when I seen the image.
Mhm.
And this one, it's, gives you that feeling of everybody wants to go somewhere and be on the water. And the big buildings and the reflections in the water, I always thought it would be nice to do something like that. These are paintings from many years ago, these ones here. And the next one, everybody wants to, has that dream of dancing with the one they love, or learning some special dance and blending together that motion. I was trying to capture what it would be like as you blend together when you're dancing. How could you put that into a painting? So that's what I was trying to do with that particular scene. And this one was actually a young girl on the beach, and I was taking pictures, and I thought, it's always awful how girls have to worry about predators and men. Men are terrible, and it got me thinking about men as like wolves and predators, and I thought, what an awful thing it is for a young lady to have to be looking over her shoulder all the time, and how can we teach men to be different? And this was sort of the idea behind the painting when I was painting it.
Oh my. Very beautiful. That's all, no?
Yeah, and then
You have
this one here, I'm working on a Tuscan sunrise now, Dream Lane, where you might go down, and horses and beaches, and there's always something. I don't sleep very much. I'm probably a 4-hour sleep night kind of person. I work around the clock.
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like I want to live every minute of life if possible. I can figure out to squeeze out of it, get something.
That's why
Yeah.
I always tell Rob, take a break. Early morning, he's already awake. Late in the evening, he's still working. But the gifts that we have, each one of us, just like Rob, make use of them, because we don't know how can this impact other people. And the talent that Rob has,
And
singing.
everybody thinks they can't do something until you start doing it. I couldn't do anything. Nobody can do anything until you start doing it. But once you do it, you can do anything. It's just a matter of, most of us are deciding, what is it we want to do? What does I want to put my heart into, or fail at, or go for? And that's the hardest thing, is making decisions. And we struggle with that, I guess, most of us.
And actually, the three questions that we could ask is, what do you want to have? And why do you want to have that? And how can that impact others? What do you want to have? And then, why do you want to have that? Because you want to help others. And then, what will you become because of that?
We could sort of think of success sort of like a different way of thinking about it. Apple, who became the most successful, company for computers and iPhones and stuff, it wasn't because they had the best computers or the best iPhones. They came up with a different way of thinking. He put a big circle up and he said, you have the what, everybody's got a what, there's lots of companies making computers and great things. Then you have the audience is the who in the middle. And then the little circle down to the bottom is the why. So most companies say, we want to sell you the best computer. We have the best computer on the market. And people are like, yeah, so that's great. It's lots of computers. But Apple said, why do we want to sell you a computer? We want to change your life. We want to make it easier for you to do your work. We want to make it easier for you to be able to use the computer. What can we do for you? And when they changed their why, all of a sudden the approach, people are like, oh, this is for me. This is my thing. It wasn't because they had the best computer or the best this. It was why we're building this. We're building it based around what you want and what you need. So when we start looking at the why of things, as opposed to the what it is, the what's really irrelevant. It's the why we're doing it in the first place. And when I seen Steve Jobs talking about that, I thought that was quite interesting way to conceptually start going at things. Why am I actually doing this in the morning? Why do I do this thing? And if it's got no purpose, if it's bringing no joy to my life and it's not improving me in any way, I'm going to stop. I don't need to be doing it anymore. So really look at the whys in your life.
Mhm. I agree. And that's your purpose.
Yes.
Yes. So are there any other questions? Or any insights? What are your takeaways from this session?
I just appreciate Rob as a beautiful human being that has many talents.
Yes, I agree.
We all have them. I
I
just don't
wanted to
sleep,
jump
so I
in
can
and
figure out where
start
they are.
singing along with you, Rob.
You have to, so many people have come, I've done a painting classes here and there, and they always come in saying, oh, I can't paint. And then by the end, they're like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. Because it's all, once you start to believe in yourself, things turn around. It's the learning curve on everything is all in a matter of belief. Because we start out thinking, I can't do that. That's impossible. That's not me. And then you think, oh, how did I do that? That was not quite as bad as I thought it was. And you just keep growing. And then before you know it, you're doing things, and then you expand from that and find your own niche in it. But everything is possible. But you have to want to do it. You have to start getting a passion and dream. Say, I'd like to try this. You know, we can't. And Marcus Aurelius put it this way. He said that you got to put your passions into the things you can change, not the things you can't. I can't get up in the morning and say, I want to be taller. You know, that's not possible. But you can say, I'd like to do better today. I'd like to make sure I come home to a clean room. What is available in my life that I can make better? What can I change? And when you start looking around at what you can change, then you can make a difference, because now you can attack the problem in a realistic form, as opposed to, I want to be a millionaire today. No. If you say, I want to make a few more dollars today and start improving on the money I'm making, yes, you can do that. Anybody can do that. You can start working towards something. So it's all incremental, and then it becomes second nature. And then life smacks you around, and just when you're ahead, it'll knock your feet out from under you and you start all over again. But that's the whole joy of it, is that, so what? You know, it's just a combination of just keep working through the beatings all the time, the malevolence of life. That's what it is. And the journey is what really becomes magical. When you start enjoying the journey, nothing matters at the end.
The others, they correlate abundance and money. And for me, abundance is not really about money.
But it can't work, can it? I mean, think about it. If we all have been in a place where we wanted that certain car, I'd like to have that new Jeep Durango or whatever it is. So you get the Jeep Durango, and then a year later, your buddy comes over and he's got the newer Jeep Durango. And now it's got the big screen TV in it. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. I wish I would have got that. I should have waited one more year. And then your brother buys a house, or you buy a house, and your brother buys one with a pool. So the family's all going over there, and you think, why didn't I get the one with a pool? Like, it's always a competition. You never can win that battle. So start just being happy with what you got, saying, you know, how can I enjoy this here and not make it so complicated that I'm reaching for things out of my reach? Let's start just working with what I got. And all of a sudden, everything becomes multiple, because when a little is enough, everything that gets added to you becomes more abundant, and you just start to grow. It's amazing.
And the power of giving also.
Oh, yes.
The more you give, the more
It's addictive.
Receive. Yes. And when you receive, it's even more than what you have given to other people. So it's the law of circulation. And be a gracious receiver also, because most of the time, just like me, whenever someone compliments me, I'm not like that. No. I will look for other faults in my face and so on. But then now I've learned to accept and say, thank you. Thank you for the compliment.
Gratitude.
Just
Awesome.
say thank you.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank everybody who came out tonight. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's, you know, to get to talk to people and see people, and especially from all over the world. I always love it when I get to talk with people. It's a great joy.
Same here. And we thank you, Rob, again, for always answering my request.
Oh, anytime for you.
Always being there to support and And then for next year, we were discussing about, by the way, before we end, we have our September 5, I won't be here because I will be in Vancouver. So that's on a Monday. So is it possible if we could move it on September 8th? That's on a Thursday. And it's going to be, we will be helping Debbie create a course, and we're here to support Debbie. Okay, come up with a course. She has all the ideas, but it's just a matter of how can we put it together. So we need all your expertise and your insights and suggestions, so we will be able to help Debbie. And this is the main reason why we have created this inner circle, to support each one, especially those who are in need. We are here to help one another. Okay. So is that fine? September 8th instead of September 6th? That's a Thursday instead of a Monday. Please thumbs up if it's okay.
Well, that Monday is Labor Day anyway.
Is that Labor Day?
Yeah. So
Okay. Good. Okay, thank you. So we will have September 8th. And the theme for that month is about love and relationships. Okay. Exciting topic. Okay, so anything else? Again, thank you, Rob. And thank
Sure,
you.
anytime. Yeah.
And thank you we have how many attendees right now? I'm so happy that a lot of you were able to attend. And it was a great session we've had with Rob, sharing his talent with us.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure all of us are inspired. What gift do I have so I could share it to other people and make use of it to inspire and make a difference, right?
That's great. And anything anybody ever comes up with or does or story, can send it to me anytime. I love it. I love to hear about what people are doing so I can talk about it on the radio.
Oh, see? That's okay. Thank
Can
you
I,
so much. Okay.
Can I
Hey,
say
guys.
something?
Thank you
please?
so much
Oh,
again.
somebody wants to say something there, I think.
I guess
Okay.
not. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you, first of all. Second of all, I wanted to say if we think that we can't do something, then we won't do it. But if we think that we can, there's always a way. We just got to find it and want it bad enough, like Rob was saying. Rob, I'd like to be able to get in contact with you to discuss some other things if you have an email address or something you'd like to drop.
Sure.
Sure. Cynthia probably will have that. And just everybody keep doing what they're doing. And it's great to be here. And thanks. I have a lot more I'd like to say, but that's for another time. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to quote this that I have on my wall next to me. It says, faith, it does not make things easy. It makes them possible.
I agree. Mhm. So when I share this recording by email, you will see all the email addresses of the members. Okay.
Awesome.
And then please feel free to share your story to Rob.
Oh,
And
yes, anytime.
Okay.
Contact me, questions anytime. I'm always gabbing.
Uh-huh.
I love stories,
Okay.
especially people who are out joining groups and changing the world and doing things. I love to hear anything I can anytime.
Okay. Thank you again.
Thanks, guys. Have a
Thank
good
you
night.
so much. Have a
thank
good,
you
have
and
a
bye
good
everybody. Thank you
See
for sharing.
next Friday, next Monday, and we have a guest who's going to do inner peace, about inner peace and hypnosis.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Sweet.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.